Alright, today is a pretty special day on the, Nemesis channel, because we are taking a look at a third-party Masterpiece-style figure for the first time. Now, I know I've taken a look at Masterpiece figures before, with, Soundwave, and technically he was third-party because he's a knockoff, but I'm not going to count that. Because to me, knockoffs don't count. At least not as third party. So, here we have X-Transbots Bond James. Their take on Punch-Counterpunch. Now, if you remember a little bit ago, I did do a review on the Titan or Power of the Primes version. I did that because I had this guy on the way. I know, because of how I stacked the recordings, this is coming out like a month after this guy's review, but it's only been like a week for me. So, let's take a look at the box, which is a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be. Like, Voyager class boxes from Hasbro are bigger. But he was packaged in vehicle mode, so that makes sense. And also, I just want to say, this is how it got shipped to me. A entirely styrofoam box that I believe I've taken the address off of. Yeah. I had no idea that this was coming. Because my eBay, to this day, May 27th is when I'm filming this, it still says that he's been shipped. It says he's in Fontana, California. Not where I am. So, yeah. Anyway, let's get that out of here. And let's take a look at the actual box. So, there's that nice artwork of both Bond and James. Or is it Bond and James? I don't know. We know who he really is. Punch and Counterpunch. So, you know, got the nice, X-Transbots logo. Master X something. Master X series is what it says up here. And you got, 20, I don't know what all this stuff means. Double Agent Bond James. Then you got the X-Transbots thing since 2008. I did not know that. On the bottom, you have a teaser for their Night Beat, I believe that's supposed to be. Either way, just, you know, for an upcoming release. A QR code I have not scanned. I genuinely don't know what it means. X-Transbots, X-Transbots, X-Transbots. On the side, you have a quote. Don't mention your move before you make a move. That's nice. It's not his original quote, which I believe was, in my line of work, there are no friends, only suspects. Which I feel like also hits just as hard as this. X-Transbots. On the side, you have part of this artwork right here. Don't mention your move before you make a move. Master X series. Schematic-y image of the, I believe that's the bottom of the car. Double Agent Bond James. And on the back of the box, you have a nice bit of artwork here that really reminds me of G1 artwork. Then you have the G1, you know, decode tech spec thing. You have his bio. And a nice image there of the product. Or artwork of the product. Yeah, you know, function, quote, bio, his stats, which if you have a transparent piece of red plastic, you can pop over and it will expose it, or you can just look at the back of the card. But yeah, and this is a really nice box, in my opinion. I actually kind of want to keep this box. I mean, it's not like it's going to take up that much room. I mean, here's the box compared to Soundwave. Soundwave is bigger than the fucking box. Granted, Soundwave is bigger than Bond James, but, you know, whatever. Anyway, so that is it for the packaging. Included, you also get a nice collector card with that same piece of artwork that is on the front of the box. 87, blah, 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 Double Agent, Bond James. X-Transbots, Master X Series. Flip it over. You've got the quote, Punch's face. I mean, one of them I don't fucking know. Bond. Because it says here, as Bond, he sports a dual mortar launcher, which is what Punch's weapon is. So the Punch is Bond. And Counterpunch is James, I guess. You got the tech specs. And yeah, I actually really like this card. It's nice and thick. It's kind of credit card stock, which I like. I really do like this. Setting off to the side, you have the instruction booklet with the nice piece of artwork that's on the front of the box. Back, you have the same artwork that was on the back of the box. And, you know, it's just typical instruction booklet. You know. With, I believe that's Chinese and English, which is nice. But yeah. Now, you do get some other things included, but I will talk about those in robot mode, because they really only play a part in robot mode. So, let's bring in Bond James. Now, I believe he is supposed to be a, probably a 1987 Pontiac Fiero. I'm guessing on the year, because that's when he came out. Now, I'm not going to do any MP vehicle mode comparisons, because, one, I only own 2 Masterpiece figures other than this guy, and he's not really a Masterpiece figure, because he's not produced by Takara or Hasbro. My 2 Masterpieces are Soundwave and Nightbird, and I don't feel like getting Nightbird transformed. I just don't. But, you know, before we get into comparisons, actually, let's look at the details. Now, when I first saw, like, MGO's review of this guy, I thought, like, the windshield and the windows here would be painted black plastic. They're not. They're a very smoky, transparent black plastic, which is really cool, in my opinion. You've got nice chrome red rims, nice rubber tires. And they chromed the entire fucking wheel. This is my first time actually taking the tire off. But yeah, I'll just set this off to the side, because you don't really... It's optional weapon storage. This is his Autobot mode weapon. But yeah, you know, he's really cool. Yeah, got a nice black stripe going down the side. I believe these are supposed to be turn signals, because the headlights pop up instead of, you know, just already being there. So I also believe these are turn signals. I don't know. It's got a nice spoiler on the back. No rear windshield, because this section here is hinges. And, you know, it'd be a little weird to just paint these and not have that black as well. Yeah, got some nice taillight detailing. Nice chromed spoilers. And I do have one issue with this guy that I will get into during the transformation. I'm going to save it, because it's probably going to be a mini rant. But anyway, so you can open the doors. Granted, there's not a seat. There's just Counterpunch's hand, just like... To steal a joke from MGO, hey ladies, have a seat. Yes, I stole that joke directly from MGO. At least I'm telling you I stole the joke. Like I steal half my jokes from him. But yeah, the mirrors are not... The rear view mirrors are not painted. They're just black. That doesn't really bother me. Mine, for You stay shut. There's always a gap in between the spoilers for some reason. I don't quite know. Yeah. And there is this panel right here that you can rotate. I placed an Autobot emblem on this side, but it's blank just like the other side originally. I placed it there. This is probably going to be the only side that has a faction symbol. I'm probably not going to put one on this side because I like how clean the car mode looks without a faction symbol. But yeah, you can also, if you come under here, you can push up these sections right here, which, if I can, they're always a little temperamental. And then, you know, you can kind of bring them up the rest of the way. You got his headlights, which is really cool. One looks a little bit... Focus, camera. Focus. One looks to be a little bit, put in a little bit weird. But I don't really find that too big of a deal. And, yeah, why are you not wanting to stay closed? Yeah. Oh, and also here's the bottom of the car. Yeah. It's basically just Punch's chest and crotch. But, yeah. Now, let's bring in his 2018 counterpart. I would bring in his G1 counterpart, or the Combiner Wars one, or the other BotCon exclusive one. I don't have any of those, I just have this one. And now, this one. So yeah, obviously two completely different types of cars. This one's more of a modern supercar. This one's obviously more 80s. But yeah. As you can see, this one also has a problem with gap because the tab broke. And yeah, and this one has a rear windshield. This one doesn't. But yeah, honestly, you know, not bad. Not bad at all. And for another comparison, because I didn't do any comparisons with him, here we have a motorcycle. Is this guy as accurate with this one? Hell fucking no, but, you know, who cares? But yeah, honestly, I could go on all day about how I really like this car mode. But we do have other things to get to. So, before I get into transformation, I will talk about weapon storage. So right in here, like this, is his Decepticon mode blaster. Essentially, there are these two tabs right here that will go into these focus holes right here in the hinges. Just take them, slide it in, grip the car around it, and then bring down this section of the hood. And there you have his Decepticon mode blaster stored. His Autobot mode blaster. You rotate the handle. Either way, it doesn't really matter which. You come under here. There are these little slots in here. I don't know how you can see. There, the slots that the handle will go into. There's one on each side. So, like I said, it doesn't matter which way you rotate it. And it can be a little tricky to get in there. And it's not the most secure connection in the world. You can see it's wobbling, but it's not going to fall out if you shake it. So, yeah. Now, setting those off to the side, we'll get into transformation. And the biggest issue with this figure. So, first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to kind of open up the doors. So you can, you know, kind of get leverage to untab this section right here. It is very tight, so don't break it. It helps if you kind of go upwards, like this. That kind of helps. So you can see there's a tab right there and a slot in there. Tiny tab up here, slot right up there. Now you're going to want to make sure the spoiler is untabbed. Untab, and then kind of bring the sides of the car out enough that you can bring this section up. Now, here's my biggest problem with this figure. You're supposed to bring these sections down, and they only come down that much. You can barely notice. If you pull too hard, well, if you pull too hard, that happens. As you can see in there, that is where the super glue I tried to fix this panel with is. And if we open up this panel, that is from the remover I tried to get the super glue out with. It ran. Luckily, I had the entire leg disassembled, so like the chrome spoiler didn't get affected. But yeah, just be careful. Don't wrench this out too far. It only comes out that far. And then you're going to want to open the panels. Then you're going to want to bring this section down if it doesn't snap off on you. And yeah, then you're going to want to kind of break the car in half a little bit. Make sure everything is untabbed. Take the leg, bring it up. And it's also on a slider. So you want to make sure it's slide. This notch will go into this panel right up here. Like that, and that'll lock this section of the leg in place so you have the knee. Now, what you're going to want to do, make sure the door is closed and tabbed in. You're going to want to pop it off its hinge like that, and yes, this is very loose. Oddly, I don't have a problem with this because it stays in just fine. Yeah, and then you're going to want to make sure it stays closed, bring the window down, and make sure the rear view mirror comes with it. Next, there's a tab right here and a slot on the inside of the door. Go ahead and tab that together like so. And then close up the car. That it will kind of tab in right there. Next, you're going to want to grab right here, pull this section up like this, bring this section over. Now what you're going to want to do here, make sure this tab is folded in. You're going to want to bring up this panel. It's on a double hinge, so you want to bring it up to where it's kind of like this. Take the spoiler and bring it down. For these are kind of aligned as best as they can. Then take this section of the spoiler and bring it in like so. It doesn't tab, it just kind of sits there. Now bring the whole leg around. This tab right here will go into this support structure right here. And there you have 1 foot of punch-counterpunch. Then you're going to want to do the same thing on the other side. Alright, now our robot has some legs. Leggy boy. Anyway, so now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to bring this section of the hood up. Then, if you have a faction symbol, you can just hide it by doing that. You're going to want to disconnect this entire assembly from the arms. You can bring the arms down, like so. They will kind of thoop into place. Bring them out and push these sections down. That'll lock the arms in place. Theoretically, mine are a little loose, but you know. Flip the hands in. Go ahead and close up the fists if you want to. You don't have to do that yet, or at all if you want. But yeah, and then bring the arms down. like so. Spin around over here. Bring the hood of the car down as much as it will. You're going to want to take this section, bring it up, up, up. Fold these sections in, and then fold them in again. Fold them in, fold them in. Rotate the windshield so you have this faux windshield that's more cartoon accurate, I guess. Now you're going to want to come in here, take these panels, flip them out. Then you're going to want to slide them up. Slide them up until these details align as best as you can get it. Slide it up to where the details align. Make sure not to break it. It's on a sliding pin. Yeah, next you're going to want to come in here, take these blue sections and bring them out. Sometimes you have to push it and, you know, kind of coax it out. Yeah, bring that out. Bring it out. Next, you're going to want to bring this section all the way down to where this bit of the hood will come into this gap right here. It may take some maneuvering. There we go. Like that. And then bring it up. These blue tabs will kind of align with the slots in there. You may have to bring that section down a little bit. There we go. Now you're going to want to bring the shoulder section down, making sure these little tabs go under the yellow sections. Just like that. Go ahead and bring the arms down. You're going to want to open this windshield section. Take these itty bitty little blue pieces and fold them in just to clean up the silhouette a little bit. And then close that back down. Then we have to work a little bit on his belly. So what you're going to want to do is take these two sections right here and fold them in. Fold in. Then you're going to want to kind of engage the backwards ab crunch. And take this little section right here and push it in. And we're at the home stretch, everybody. Rotate his arms, so that way the blue section is facing the rest of all this blue. Rotate the hands, so that way they're oriented the proper way. And if you do things the way I do, bring out the face. Which you're going to want to do that. You know, bring out the face, rotate it. And bring that down, And there we have Bond James in his Decepticon robot mode, which is the mode he ends up in by default. And I really like this figure. He's really cool, even with the unfortunateness of this breaking. I still think he's really cool. Articulation, or let's do details. Details, you have a lot that you saw in the car mode. His thighs are die-cast. That's something that no one has pointed out to me in all the reviews I've watched. His thighs are die-cast, which is really cool. You've got some detailing right there. You got his face. This is the cartoon face. I would love to use this face, but I'll get into why I don't. But you've got some nice details there on the thighs. You got the sides of the car, the chrome red wheels. You've got the silver windshield, which I don't mind. That looks really good. Some mechanical detailing in there. There's Robo Belly, a weird triangle on his crotch. And yeah, I also really like how the spoiler kind of, folds and becomes his feet. That is really neat. But yeah, and back, we'll do more of that in punch mode. But yeah, articulation-wise, the head can rotate. It can only look up about that far. However, if you move the punch face back, you can get him looking up however far you want. The shoulders do a full 360. Something isn't tabbed in correctly. There we go. Now his collar's tabbed in. Yeah, they do a full 360. They can go out that far. He can hit himself in the head with his own shoulder. You've got bicep rotation. You've got a double jointed knee that kind of looks a little weird. Like, kudos, they found a way to do a double jointed elbow on both sides, but it's a really weird accordion. He can do, an extendo punch. Sorry, that's a stupid joke that made me laugh. His hands can rotate. The fingers can open. The index finger is separate. The other three are fused together. He can open his hand. Waist, you do have waist rotation, full 360. Ab crunch that, bends that way. And that way, because, this is another robot mode, basically. He can kick forward that far, back, even further. If you move this panel out of the way, you can do that much outward. He does have a tight thigh rotation. He does have 90 degrees of bend at the knee that obviously goes both ways. Feet can't. You can do a little bit up and down, but you're flexing the plastic. And you do get a little bit of ankle tilt. So, yeah. He looks good. He looks good. Accessories. You have his gun, which, if you just focus, bring the barrel up, bring the section back, bring him in, open his hand. There's a tab right here and a slot right in there. It's a, standard way to connect your guns, weapons. Well, I make sure to keep the index finger slightly out, so it looks like he's shooting. And yeah, he can hold it. Both robot modes can hold both weapons. But yeah. He looks good. He looks good. Double joint engaged when I didn't want it to. Now, for comparison, here he is with his Power of the Primes incarnation. And they are very, very different, especially in the head. This one's head is more based off the Japanese version, and this one is based more off the American version. I like the American version's head for counterpunch, but I prefer the Japanese version for punch. I just prefer the faceplate look. But, there you go. And, here they are with Soundwave. Yeah, this guy is essentially a Voyager class figure. Essentially. And there we go. Alright, now, I guess I'll show off the, head swap for this, version. Which, that's a nice head. You just come in here and pop it off. Come right here, And plug that on. And I do think that looks a lot better. Like, I prefer the, you know, not flat, the non-flattened cartoon face. Because, I mean, look at this. This just looks so much better. However, the problem comes when you switch him into punch mode. But I'll show that off when I get there. But yeah. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove this head and put the one I usually use back on. And we will get down to punch mode. So you want to remove his weapon. Close up his fist. I go ahead and fold up his face first. Fold up the face, damn it. Hold up. And I will say, I'm the one who painted the backs of all the faces black to match the helmet. These were originally white. This was originally white. So I will say I did that, and it looks a lot better. The paint is chipping from the side of the helmet. I tried fixing that. It obviously didn't work. Anyway, so now you're going to want to bring up his counterpunch fist. Come in here, bring down the punch fist, and just make sure his hand is fully closed. And slide his counterpunch fist into his arm. Bring it up. Rotate it properly so it's facing the proper direction. Do the same thing on this side. Bring that up. Bring that down. Bring that out. Bring that down. Make sure the fist is fully closed. Bring the fist up. Rotate it. Next, you are going to want to bring these shoulder pauldrons in. Spin the figure around. Bring up the face. Rotate it. And then bring it down. Make sure it's aligned. And there you have Punch. And yeah, I still think he looks really good in this mode. You know, he's not... You know, he's just Punch. So let's get in close on the details. You have his face, which I think makes him look like an older war veteran, I guess. Nice detail on the chest. A spot for an Autobot insignia. I don't know if I'm going to put one there, though. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. Bring in the sides. Yeah. A lot of the same details, just now, you know, the front instead of the back. His crotch piece extends out further than Counterpunch's, so it makes him look like he has a slightly bigger ass in Counterpunch mode. But yeah. Some nice detailing on the thighs there. Nice red hands. The top of the car, or back of the car, as the legs. But yeah. Oh no, I think he looks good. I think he looks good. Yeah. Articulation is exactly the same. What did you expect? It's literally just flipping him around. He can hold his Autobot weapon. First, rotate the handle the correct way. Then, you know, open the hand, slot, peg, or tab. This one's slightly harder to do because the tab wants to rotate on you. And there you go. Close up his fingers. And yeah. And also, so the tab technically goes through both the entire hand, so if you want, you can plug his guns on to the outside of his hand. I don't know why you would want to, but you can. But, you know, there he is. Now, for the extra head, to get it into punch mode, you can see there's kind of like a now blackened smiley face there. What you're going to want to do is kind of want to push this down, which is really difficult. Push it down so you have space to bring Counterpunch's face up, rotate it, bring it down, and push that back up. You can kind of already see why I prefer that one. Yeah, and also the weird smiley face. Yes, jokes one from him ago. Anyway, bring this section up, rotate it, bring it down. Again, I think this face looks better, but if he goes to turn his head too far, you can totally see Counterpunch's face. Counterpunch's head is completely covered up with this one. Even more so since I painted the back of the helmet black. This one, yeah, you can easily tell it's another face. The punch side hides decently well. You can still see his eyes, but the Counterpunch side, oh boy. And now, before we swap the heads, actually, there is an alternate face. Brr. But yes, I of course did paint black. You want to swap them out, bring this face up, and kind of just find a way to take it off. And then just slide it in like this. And now he has a slightly more concerned face. And now we're going to just pop the preferred head off. And pop. This one likes to give me trouble. Pop the, more detailed, less cartoon accurate face on. And again, I genuinely think that looks better. But Counterpunch's face hides almost perfectly on this one. This one, you can see his face. So, yeah. Yeah, I put this one on, and I leave this head displayed as Counterpunch. I just keep it displayed separately as Counterpunch, because I really like this face sculpt. I really like it. But, and Punch's face does hide better than Counterpunch's, but with nothing on the side here for him, his face doesn't hide nearly as well. So, yeah. Now, for comparison, here we have the Power of the... Whoa! His knees are really weak. The, stand. Titans... I just did it again. Power of the Primes, Punch Counterpunch, in Punch mode. Which I prefer the faceplate look, but, whatever. And here we have him with Soundwave. The scale hasn't changed at all, but, you know. And, like I said, if you want, you can have, Punch dual wielding, his and Counterpunch's weapons. If you wish. Which, when I have him in Autobot mode, I do have him dual wield. Because I usually have him running away from Soundwave. But yeah. So anyway, guys, that has been my review of the X-Transbots Bond James. All in all, I recommend this figure. Just make sure, when you're transforming him into robot mode, do not wrench this panel out too far. You will break it. Obviously, that's what happened with me. And for... what did I pay? Like $120? That's not bad. It's really not bad. I mean, obviously, if you can find it cheaper, go for it. But, all in all, he's really good. Yeah, if you want this guy for yourself, just look around. I personally found mine on eBay, but I've also seen this guy on Amazon. Yes, Amazon. I found this guy on Amazon for the same base price, however, shipping was better on the eBay version, so I went with eBay. But I'm sure you can also find them on, like, Big Bad Toy Store, Shozy Store, The Chosen Prime, any other sites you can find third-party Transformers. You can probably find this guy. Do I recommend him? Highly. I highly recommend him if you're a fan of, you know, the Punch-Counterpunch character. Or you're like me, who's in need of Autobots for your masterpiece shelf, but also kind of, you know, don't mind having it more Decepticons as well. 2 in 1. But, guys, that has been my review of the X-Transbots Bond James. I've been Nemesis, and I will see you in the next video.